good to know Michael keeps his spice rack well stocked. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. As part of the 2021 edition of my 13 Nights of Halloween series, today I'm going to be talking about the 2002 slasher sequel, Halloween Resurrection. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, rank lists, and trailer reactions. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all that extra content. Halloween Resurrection stars Busta, Bianca, Kajlich, and Sean Patrick Thomas, and was directed by Rick Rosenthal. 3 years after the events of H2O, Michael Myers returns once again, this time setting his sights on a group of college students filming a live stream reality show in his childhood home. When faced with a bad sequel, we often throw around the term unnecessary. In actuality, very few sequels could be considered necessary, but many can be interesting or worthy follow-ups to their predecessor. Halloween Resurrection is none of those things. It's not interesting, it's not a worthy follow-up to H2O or any of the franchise's many films. Halloween Resurrection is one of the few instances where I think the label of unnecessary sequel truly applies. In spite of H2O's solid and definitive ending, it's really no surprise that we got another Halloween film. This is a profitable franchise with a big fan base, so I imagine we're always gonna get new Halloween films. But this movie only functions as a direct sequel to H2O in the weakest, most cash-grabby way. Similar to Halloween 5, this film decides to retcon the ending of its predecessor. It adds new context to the situation and gives us additional information that changes the way in which we view the ending events of the previous film. And just like Halloween 5, it negates the impact of those events. As I already mentioned, this movie is only just barely a direct sequel to H2O. The introductory sequence is all that connects the films, and despite its retconning, is easily the best part of the movie. We get a slight continuation of some of the trauma themes explored in H2O, and it has some decently suspenseful moments, though mostly comprised of recycled kill gags from previous films. We're met with a shocking moment that probably isn't all that shocking to anybody, and then seemingly a setup for the plot, with a passing of the blood-covered proverbial torch. Except it isn't set up for anything. The film just abandons the idea to seemingly start the movie over again. Nothing in those opening 10 minutes are ever referenced again in the film, or have any bearing on any of the events that we see. It's bizarre. Instead, we're introduced to a completely new set of characters, a group of unlikable college students whom we're gonna have the misfortune of being stuck with for the next 85 minutes. We're also introduced to the true premise of the film, a Big Brother-style web show set inside the Myers house. What could go wrong? And what could be more 2002? To be fair, the premise almost could have been good. If it had centered around a true investigatory style show, digging into the backstory of the iconic serial killer, it probably could have yielded some interesting things, and a few good scares. But, of course, it's set up as a dangertainment reality show. So we know from the get-go that it's just gonna devolve into webcam-era teen slasher nonsense. With just about every character being unlikable and obnoxious, you're almost rooting for Michael Myers to take them out. Unfortunately, aside from one good jump scare kill, even Michael's not entertaining this time around. There's no motivation behind anything that anybody does here, other than Michael being upset by the mere presence of people in his childhood home. But because we don't care about any of these characters, the film is frustratingly lacking in stakes. The movie's web show premise also adds an additional negative element to the already poor film, the cinematography. The visual presentation here is just awful. The characters are on an internet show in the early 2000s, so much of the footage is from surveillance cameras set up around the Myers house or excessively grainy found footage like body cams strapped to the actors, with plenty of random intercut stills of Michael Myers' mask between camera changes. Not only do we have to watch this mix of flat actual camera footage, surveillance footage, and body cam footage, but we have to watch other people watching it too. The film frequently cuts to a group of teens watching the live stream at a party, so we're stuck watching parts of the film on in-movie computer screens. I know what the filmmakers thought they were going for here, but it does not work. Unfortunately, Halloween Resurrection joins the increasing ranks of poorly thought out and poorly executed Halloween sequels. Nothing makes sense, the characters are all incredibly unlikable and constantly making dumb decisions. Seriously, who would brush their hair with that brush? The dialogue's downright awful, aside from a few of Busta Rhymes' goofy one-liners towards the end. They're still awful, but they're stupidly entertaining in their awfulness. This is a film that clearly thought it had a finger on the pulse of current technology and teen culture, but just continually, not continuously, proves how out of touch the writers were. This is yet another dead end in the franchise, thankfully spawning no direct sequel. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. The pros are a little sparse in this film, so really the only positive thing here is the intro. Even that's not great, but compared to the rest of the film, it's the highlight. To be honest, it's the only part of the movie that feels like a Halloween film. It follows up H2O in questionable fashion, but at least it tries to connect the story, and features the only solid performance in the film. It's just a shame that the rest of the film didn't follow suit, and instead feels like an entirely separate movie. On the con side is just about everything else. Probably the biggest con is the premise. The reality show thing was big. I mean, it's still a big thing, but it just doesn't work for a Halloween movie. It tries to do something modern and tech-based, but is tantamount to a movie version of that "how do you do, fellow kids" meme. The second con has gotta be the characters. Everybody's awful. I know you don't have to like a character to like a movie about them, but it's just such an obnoxious group here. Even the one character who's supposed to be the main protagonist that we like is not a good character to me. It's a rough one character-wise, but I realize that the protagonists in weaker slasher films don't really matter, so who cares, right? But Michael Myers isn't good here either. There's one stupidly entertaining scene halfway through the movie between him and Busta Rhymes, but other than that and the intro sequence, even Michael is a nothing character here. Con number 3 is the cinematography. Maybe it's slightly more accurate to say the stylistic format they shot in, but it's encompassed. The surveillance footage, the live streaming body cam footage, it just looks awful. Again, the idea behind it makes sense, but it just doesn't work when actually executed, especially since those moments of footage are emulating early 2000s webcam footage. I mean, some people still look all pixelated and blurry in Zoom meetings today. Just imagine watching half the film shot with technology that's 20 years older, filmed on a computer screen in the movie as we watch somebody else watch it. Before I give you my rating and recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying Halloween Resurrection or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd use them if you're in the market for any of these movies. I'm gonna give Halloween Resurrection 1 out of 5 paws. There's really not much to like here. I imagine some people can get nostalgic so bad it's good enjoyment out of this, but it's an awful follow-up to H2O and is definitely among the worst in the franchise. I would recommend Halloween Resurrection to very few people. If you have some sort of nostalgia for this film, then you'll probably be able to glean some sort of entertainment from it, but I don't think newcomers to the film will get anything from it. Halloween completionists will be stuck watching it, but honestly, you could probably get away with watching just the first 10 minutes. If you liked Halloween Resurrection, I would recommend Halloween H2O 20 years later. It's the direct predecessor to this film, though you'd never guess it aside from the intro. But that movie brings back Laurie Strode and is pretty solid for the 7th film in a long-running horror franchise. If you liked the tech-based elements of this film, you might want to check out Cry Wolf. It's another slasher thriller that focuses on a group of teens and has some minor early 2000s technology come into play. I would also recommend The Cabin in the Woods. Usually I say why I recommend something, but that's a movie you want to go into with no pre-existing knowledge, so I just recommend it. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen Halloween Resurrection? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what do you think Michael was using that fresh fennel for? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa, with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.